In 1974, Albert Ostman, a Canadian prospector, stated that he was kidnapped and held captive by a family of Bigfoot for 6 days in 1924 in Toba Inlet, British Columbia. In Fouke, Arkansas in 1971, a family reported that a hair-covered creature startled a woman after reaching through a window. Bigfoot, also known as the Sasquatch, are creatures that are said to inhabit remote forests and mountains. They are often described as large, ape-like creatures with thick fur and human-like features. There have been many reported sightings of Bigfoot. Some people believe that they may be undiscovered species of primates, but many scientists and experts believe that the Bigfoot is a legend or a myth, and that the reported sightings and encounters can be explained by misidentifications of known animals, hoaxes, or imaginative stories. The legend of Bigfoot has captured the imagination of people for many years, and they continue to be popular subjects in popular culture. Tales of wild, hairy humanoids exist throughout the world, and such creatures appear in the folklore of North America, including the mythologies of indigenous people. Bigfoot is an icon within the fringe subculture of cryptozoology, and an enduring element of popular culture. It is most often described as a large, muscular, and bipedal ape-like creature covered in black, dark brown, or dark reddish hair. Anecdotal descriptions estimate a height of roughly 1.8 to 2.7 meters or 6 to 9 feet, with some descriptions having the creatures standing as tall as 3 to 4.6 meters or 10 to 15 feet. Some alleged observations describe Bigfoot as more man-like, with reports of a human-like face. In 1971, multiple people in the Dalles, Oregon, filed a police report describing an overgrown ape, and one of the men claimed to have sighted the creature in the scope of his rifle, but could not bring himself to shoot it because it looked more human than animal. Common descriptions also include broad shoulders, no visible neck, and long arms, which skeptics describe as likely misidentification of a bear standing upright. Some alleged nighttime sightings have stated the creature's eyes glowed yellow or red. However, eyeshine is not present in humans or any other known apes, and so proposed explanations for observable eyeshine off the ground in the forest include owls, raccoons, or opossums perched in foliage. The enormous footprints for which the creature is named are claimed to be as large as 610 millimeters or 24 inches long and 8 inches wide. Some footprint casts have also contained claw marks, making it likely that they came from known animals such as bears, which have 5 toes and claws. Many of the indigenous cultures across the North American continent include tales of mysterious hair-covered creatures living in forests, and according to anthropologist David Daegling, these legends existed long before contemporary reports of Bigfoot. These stories differed in their details both regionally and between families in the same community. A story from 1924, often referred to as the Battle of Ape Canyon, presents miners being attacked by large hairy ape men that threw rocks onto their cabin roof from a nearby cliff, after one of the miners allegedly shot one with a rifle. In Fouke, Arkansas in 1971, a family reported that a hair-covered creature startled a woman after reaching through a window. This alleged incident was later deemed a hoax. In 1974, the New York Times presented the dubious tale of Albert Ostman, a Canadian prospector, who stated that he was kidnapped and held captive by a family of Bigfoot for 6 days in 1924 in Toba Inlet, British Columbia. Other creatures of relatively similar descriptions are alleged to inhabit various regions throughout the world, such as the skunk ape of the southeastern United States, the almas, yeren, and yeti in Asia, and the Australian yowie, all of which, like Bigfoot, are ingrained in the cultures of their regions. On the Tule River Indian Reservation in central California, petroglyphs created by a tribe of Yokuts at a site called Painted Rock are alleged by some to depict a group of Bigfoot called the family. The local tribespeople call the largest of the glyphs hairy man, and they are estimated to be between 500 and 1,000 years old. 16th-century Spanish explorers and Mexican settlers in California told tales of the Los Vigilantes Oscuros, or dark watchers, large creatures alleged to stalk their camps at night. In the region that is now Mississippi, a French Jesuit priest was living with the Natchez in 1721 and reported stories of hairy creatures in the forest known to scream loudly and steal livestock. The St. Isles people tell stories about Sasquatch, a shape-shifting creature that protects the forest. The name, Sasquatch, is the anglicized version of Saskatch, roughly translating to hairy man in the Halkomelem language. Members of the Lummi tell tales about creatures known as Semekwes. The stories are like each other in the general descriptions of Semekwes, but details differed among various family accounts concerning the creature's diet and activities. Some regional versions tell of more threatening creatures. The Stiyaha or Quikwayai were a nocturnal race, and children were warned against saying the names so that the monsters would not come and carry them off to be killed. The Iroquois tell of an aggressive, hair-covered giant with rock-hard skin known as the Adne-Yar-Hair, stone giant, more commonly referred to as the Genasqua. In 1847, Paul Kane reported stories by the natives about Skookoons, a race of cannibalistic wild men living in southern Washington state. Also related to this area was an alleged incident in 1924, in which a violent encounter between a group of gold prospectors and a group of ape men occurred. These allegations were reported in the July 16, 1924, issue of the Oregonian and have become a popular piece of Bigfoot lore, with the area now being referred to as Ape Canyon. U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt, in his 1893 book, The Wilderness Hunter, writes of a story he was told by an elderly mountain man named Bauman, in which a foul-smelling, bipedal creature ransacked his beaver trapping camp, stalked him, and later became hostile, when it fatally broke his companion's neck in the wilderness, near the Idaho-Montana border. Roosevelt notes that Bauman appeared fearful while telling the story, but attributed the trapper's folkloric German ancestry to have potentially influenced him. Less menacing versions have also been recorded, such as one by Reverend Elkanah Walker from 1840. Walker was a Protestant missionary who recorded stories of giants among the natives living near Spokane, Washington. These giants were said to live on and around the peaks of the nearby mountains, stealing salmon from the fishermen's nets. So where did the name, Bigfoot, come from? In 1958, Jerry Crew, a logging company bulldozer operator in Humboldt County, California, discovered a set of large, human-like footprints sunk deep within the mud in the Six Rivers National Forest. Upon informing his coworkers, many claimed to have seen similar tracks on previous job sites, as well as telling of odd incidents, such as an oil drum weighing 450 pounds or 200 kilograms, having been moved without explanation. The logging company men soon began utilizing the term, Bigfoot, to describe the mysterious culprit. As a result, the term, Bigfoot, became widespread as a reference to an apparently large, unknown creature leaving massive footprints in Northern California. In 2002, the family of Crew's deceased coworker, Ray Wallace, stated that their father had been secretly making the large footprints with carved wooden feet, and that he was responsible for the tracks. Despite the Wallace family's statement, Willow Creek in Humboldt County are considered by some to be the Bigfoot capital of the world. While it is always possible that there may be undiscovered species of animals in the world, but there is currently no credible evidence to suggest that Bigfoot is a real, undiscovered species.